Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's November 17th. I'm out here in the garden. A couple days ago, maybe 3, we had a good freeze. We didn't cover anything. We did put water on this area up here, which cut down on some of the damage, but we're going to take a look and see what's happened to everything. And we're starting up here. This is our collards. Now you can see it takes a few days, but you can see where the leaves start showing up, damage from the freeze. Now the peas, they seem to be doing okay, and also the spinach seems to be doing okay. But I had chose not to cover anything because I think last year I had increased my pest problem by not by covering it up and keeping it warm. So I kept them warm too, and so the cold temperatures didn't knock them down. Now our onions, alliums do real good for the cold. It's really got to get real cold to hurt them. Now our cabbage is looking fine. With the sprinkler going overnight, it was, and this is just a little bitty old mini wobbler that puts out 2 gallons a minute, so it just gives a mist all night. And I did water them last night too, which it wasn't supposed to get below freezing, but it was time they needed some water. But some of my beets did okay. There is some damage to the leaves from frost. The broccoli, it's doing okay. Hopefully it will do okay through the next one. Now the golden beets, they had a little bit more damage from the frost, and of course the pest is getting them a little bit more, so that was one reason I wanted to leave them uncovered. But I want to show you down here. Now I came out early that morning and I watered some of this, and I wanted to see what effect the water, groundwater temperature, how it would affect the plants. And now you can see these beets right here. They had ice on them. In fact, those did too. But I had watered these ones, and that shock from changing that temperature drastically instead of letting them warm up and go through the day, you can see the difference in there. So just as a reference, and that was one of my things. I'm always experimenting, and I didn't want to go very far, and it's a good thing I didn't, because you can see what happened. Same thing with my broccoli. This broccoli up here looks really good. As you come down here, you can see it's wilted down, and it's kind of in shock and got to recover. So it makes a big difference. We did lose some of our, I'm trying to think if these were, a lot of this was lacinato kale and stuff, and some of them got burnt pretty good. And these were actually watered too, and that's why they look worse. The other ones up there look pretty good. There's a little bit of difference on the peas, but not much. Now, when we look over here, you can see on our deal how it's brown and wilted, and you can see this deal over here is really done fine. Now this wasn't watered or anything, it just was out here in the weather, and it got down to showed 26 in my little greenhouse, which it doesn't hold any heat. It basically, it's going to show the temperature that's outside. It does do a little bit towards the ground, keeps it a little bit warmer, but up high where the thermometer is, it'll kind of show closer to a true temperature. But you can really see how watering these like I did, how it affected it. Now we didn't cover our basil, and of course it had worms were eating it, and we had sprayed it, but it had all the holes, so I wasn't really concerned with it. Now our peppers, and I don't know that I need any more habaneros, but they're all soft now. They're from the freeze. Of course, it broke their cell structure. You can see over here our okra is, it's just all of it's gone. So we'll clean that out. We're going to clean out our pepper beds because all the peppers are done in. The onions, you can see how some of the leaves are laying down, which they might have got froze, but it's not going to affect it. They'll recover, and they've got a long growing season ahead of them. But these peppers here, same way. Now this Chinese cabbage and such is in here. This was the same thing. I came down, watered this, and that was a mistake because it's basically, it's killed most of it. The cilantro out here, it's in really bad shape. This is going to have to end up, I might try cutting it all off, but there's another freeze coming tonight, and if I'm going to cut it off, I'll cut it off after that because I don't want to take away any blanket that it might give to keep the lower part in good shape. Now we do have in here, we've got, and it's kind of hard to see, but they're just cropping up our little, I think this is probably turnips, I'm not sure, but they have turnips and mustard, and I don't remember which row's which, but these are doing the same way. They're starting to pop up. And we planted a little row here with a couple of different types of radishes, and these are popping up. They're kind of cold weather plants. But the thing is, and the same here, my radicchio, now a lot of this is not going to recover. Some plants look okay, but this was the same thing, putting water on them to try to get the frost off. Normally I'll do that if we have a short spell and it's fixing to warm up, but this was it was still super cold. I put the water on, it was trying to ice the leaves, and then which the shock of being warm then frozen again and stuff, and it did the same thing to my turnips and mustard right here in this row. Now my carrots, they didn't really care. Carrots do like they'll go really down on cold temperature. Also, the rest of our peppers here, I can't say that I'm going to miss these plants because it's been a long season of picking peppers, and we're about ready for a break. We've got some that we'll be chopping up today that we had already harvested, and we'll take care of that. Now the turmeric, or turmeric, whichever way you want to call it, it's kind of toast, and this next freeze tonight will finish it off, but this will be ready to harvest. All our jalapenos and our sweet bells, well, they've had it too. You can see the thing here with garlic. Now the garlic, it don't care. None of your alliums. The leek at the very end is the same way. The cool weather won't affect it. It'll take a real cold temperature to even start to damage it. So they'll be doing good. Some of our herbs over here, or herbs, however you want to call it, our lavender here, it's looking good. This hyssop, I think is what this one here, it's still going. Now our catnip, it's taking over everywhere, so it's still going good. It doesn't care about the cold. And our tarragon, it's doing good. And now the tips get nipped on our sage. Of course, we've harvested all we wanted, and And when the tips are nipped, they don't look real good for taking to the farmer's market. So we won't be doing anything with that. We have some oregano. This is true Greek oregano, which is a little stronger flavored. We want to harvest some of this, and we probably will. We've been taking a little bit to the market. I think that we'll go ahead and harvest some of this, and we're going to replant it. These tubs, if you go back and you look whenever we were doing this, you can see how far these are down. They're down at least 6 inches, and this is how much these things settle in a year. Because the compost, now they do have a lot of perlite, but what I'll end up doing is I'll do my mix back up, my perlite, my compost, and some peat moss, and bring these up even to the top again. And these two right here were actually oregano, but they didn't get watered good. We never did get our drip system set in over them, so they died out. But we've got plenty of here rooted in, so whenever we bring those up over there, we'll take some of this and put in, because we're going to have to take this out and build it up too. So this is the time of year that we'll do that. We'll go ahead and harvest out this one. Now, in our little greenhouse here, we did cover everything, and we got a lot of starts. So some of our plants that we lost, we'll put these starts out, and we'll be a little bit more proactive as far as keeping the pests, whichever ones survive this next freeze tonight. We'll put them out, and then we'll get our hoops set up and be ready to go ahead and cover what we need to cover. And as far as that goes, that should work pretty good. Our celery is down in here, and it's doing good. Once it gets about that good a foothold, it likes to really take off. I know it is always slow to start. Now, we have a rosemary up underneath here, and I need to take this off because it'll get hot in there in a hurry. But as you can see, it's fine. Being we lost ours last year, we're going to be a little bit more particular about taking care of that one, because we really like our rosemary. I love just to rub my hands in it and the smell of it. Now, in the big greenhouse, this is the north side over here, and the peppers they're kind of playing out anyway. And we had already planned to take these out, but as you can see, even though this is not a heated greenhouse, and it seems to get as cold in here, or maybe it stay 3-4 degrees warmer, it's still doing pretty good. Now, we had cut our greens. I'm getting rained on in here from the moisture that's drawn to the top. And even though it stays a little warmer in here, we did cover our bok choy and our muskellunge mix. Now, our tomatoes, they've still got tomatoes on. We left them on them, but you can see this last freeze, how it's affected them. Now, some of the leaves are still going good, but it's been kind of rough on them. This one here has got a few tomatoes on it. And they shouldn't be long starting to ripen up, but this time I wasn't going to pick them. Now, this cherry tomato here, and certain varieties seem to do better, but you can see this one here just I don't see any wilting on the leaves. I had a couple little ones that come up from seed. These I'm going to say are probably atomic grapes, but they're just volunteers. Now, our cilantro in here, you can see it didn't get affected at all by the cold. Now, we did cover up our citrus last night, even though it wasn't going to get real cold, give it a little bit extra protection. This is another one of the cherry tomatoes. Now, this one did get a little bit of damage on a few of the leaves, but it's still going, so we'll just see how long it hangs in there. This one got a little bit more damage on it, but it wasn't looking as good on the bottom. As you can see, it was starting to yellow, so the health of the plant might have something to do with it. We have some more over here. They're the same way. But anyway, we halfway covered our citrus down here, and we'll cover it up a little bit better for tonight. The bell peppers in here, these, of course, they don't look real great, and the jalapenos, they don't look real great because they're kind of ending their cycle, but it didn't, as far as the frost, I'm not going to say if the frost might have got this one. That one was dying already on those hatch, but the frost did get the hatch more. You can see how the leaves are wilting and such as that. But anyway, that's where we're sitting, and I kind of wanted to show you that, and I wanted to talk about the water, because I've always used water like when I put my peppers out early and such as that. But when you get a freeze, this was down to 26, and even though I come out early and watered them, it was so cold that it didn't take just a few minutes after I watered them to freeze them back. So it's a little bit different if you're just trying to keep frost off, if it's close to 32. But whenever you tend to have a harder freeze like that, then it's best, and especially a lot of these plants that would have stayed better, you know. Like I say, the sprinkler works real good if you have a system set up like mine, and I'm on well water, so it's and they were due a drink, and that worked real good for controlling this. But like I say, that other watering didn't. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful for you, and don't get discouraged. You lose some plants, and especially if you're in an area. Now, when I start some more, and depends on how many warm days we get in the fall and winter here, to how quick they'll grow. But I'll just plant more seeds and hope for the best. Anyway, if you want to see more, well, hit that subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified. Give it a big thumbs up, and enjoy your garden.